sense.
Okay. Is he live streaming this early?
Yeah,
We're 9 minutes out. Okay.
it's okay.
Okay, I'll just wait. I'll see you at 12:30.
Okay.
Thank you, Harry.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to class. Come on in. Hopefully you can turn your cameras on. That would be nice. There we are. Hi, Julia. Nice to see you. Stella. That's
Nice
great.
to see you again.
Hi, Tweed. Nice to have you.
Yeah, I don't
Thank
have to
you.
sorry about that.
No worries. That's okay. There's Stephanie. That's great. All right. Get my little chat box open in case we have any questions. All right. Well, I'm not sure how many are coming in today, but we'll just let Nancy let people come in as she validates everybody. So welcome to 7 Healing Foods, 7 Simple Recipes class. And this is an exciting class. I like doing this one. We learn all about how many healing foods there are out there, and how just having those in our weekly diet is so important to keep ourselves healthy. So as people are entering the room, I'm going to just go through a couple little things. Let me start by sharing my screen. So hopefully everybody can see my screen now. And so today we're going to look at healing foods, which is really, really great. There's so many healing foods out there. Of course, I've only just chosen 7 for today's purposes, but definitely it's a great area to study and learn about all the amazing foods that are out there. So for any of you that haven't met me, my name is Ravina, and I'm one of the guides here at Get Set Up. And I've been thoroughly enjoying all my teaching and mentoring I've been doing since about beginning of February of 2021. So I'm getting on there in a few months. I feel like I've been here for a little while now. And so my background is in nutrition and in health. I have a nursing degree and a functional nutrition certificate diploma. And for most of my life, I've been interested in health and prevention. That's always been my focus, is prevention. Like, how do we stop ourselves from getting sick in the first place? Like, how can we stop ourselves from ending up in the hospital in the first place? And as a nurse, I used to think, wow, I'm helping this person, but boy, I could have helped them 3 months ago. And so that sort of started my trip down, trying to figure out, like, how can I learn more stuff so that I can teach people and mentor them to stay healthy and not get sick in the first place. So that became my mission. And I just now it's been 18, 19, 20, I guess it's been 2.5 years, 3 years now since I retired from my corporate full-time job, which was a medical job. But I still felt like I was helping you after the fact, not before. And so now that I'm on my own, basically retired, well, I have my husband, but on my own in the sense I'm working for myself, I now work as a vibrant living coach. And I feel like I can talk about health and mentor people with health as my full-time, part-time, whatever I choose to do. And then I found Get Set Up, just like you. I was a learner. And so when I found Get Set Up, I thought, oh, this looks really cool. So I started teaching some classes here. And now I'm sort of hooked on it. And I really do enjoy it. And they do allow me to create courses as I see fit. So whatever you guys give me as feedback on feedback forms and say things that you're looking for or you're interested in, I take all that into consideration for my next class that I create. So today we have Nancy in our support area. She'll be in the chat, so you can always chat with Nancy if you're having some issues, tech issues, or want some help. She's just right now working at getting people into the rooms. And thank you for showing up on time. We are really becoming a little bit more strict about people showing up within the 5 minutes of the class starting, so that we don't feel interrupted, and we can verify everybody and then get into the meat of the class. So thank you for being here on time. Remember that we do learn from each other. So if you can put your camera on, it's so great. If you have a comment or a question to ask, just put your hand up like this, or put up your electronic hand Yeah, and if you have a chance to look at the reactions button down below, you can use that to put the electronic hand. Patricia, are you just practicing, or did you have a question?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to cancel out from the class because I have a conflict.
Okay,
I could
no
I
worries.
could stay in for a half hour, but I'd rather not. But I will come back. I appreciate. I'm interested in this subject. I'm a
Perfect.
retired nurse also.
Oh, are you? Oh,
And-
wonderful, wonderful. Okay,
So-
yeah, sure, no problem at all. Yeah, sometimes people just don't show up, and we're used to that. Sometimes conflicts come up, so just come. I'll be teaching it. I think it's the same time, exactly the same time next week. So if you can make
Okay,
it next week,
all
that
right.
would be great. And we'll look forward to
That'll be
having
great.
you. Okay, great.
Thank you. Hello,
Yeah.
everyone. Goodbye, everyone. Hello.
I love when nurses are here. I love to connect with other nurses. That's great. So we are actually live streaming. For some reason, I don't know, I guess I'm popular. It's not really my class specifically, but I think it's because it's health classes, or maybe they like me as well. A lot of my classes do get live streamed, and they pick and choose the classes. Now, if it's like a class that's very intimate, like figuring out how to use your iPhone or something, and there's only 50, like they might not stream a class like that, or something where it may be more private information. I can't think of a class like that, but anyways, they pick and choose who they're going to live stream, and often my class does get live streamed. So this is my 3 and 3 today. So we'll just say hi to everybody out there. So when people are live streaming in, they can see us and they can hear us, but they can't see our chat box, and they don't get the post email. And often I send the summary of what we've learned. I send attachments. Like today, you guys are going to get a little food booklet, recipe booklet with the 7 recipes that we're going to look at the end of class. So that's exciting. So I always just say, whoever's live streaming to, if you like what you hear, register for the class for next week. We also do not get paid to promote a product or a service. So I always say that every single class, we're meant to say that so that you're aware that there's no connection in that sense. So let's look at the agenda. We're going to look at the understanding just the healing power of food, just in general. We're going to look at specifically 7 foods that I've chosen that are some of my favorites. And I chose them because I feel that they're most accessible to most everybody. Like they're sort of more common items. I didn't pick some weird, remote herb that's grown in, the mountains and, I don't know, some in Turkey or something like that. So these are products and things that you can find probably in your own grocery store, no matter where you live. And then towards the end, we will go through the booklet of the recipes and just kind of highlight some stuff. But everything is self-explanatory in the recipes. It's not like a link to a magazine and you have to like go through pages and pages. It's like the proper recipe per page that you could print and put it in your own little recipe book if you want it. Okay, so let's start by, I want to ask, who here in class has ever used a food? Maybe your mother taught this to you, or your grandparent, or a friend. Have you used a food to heal a symptom or a body ailment that you were having? Anybody had that? Anybody used something that, or they heard about and they thought they would try it?
Lemon.
Lemon, okay. And what have you used lemon for, Twee?
For the cough and ginger mixed together.
Okay, nice. So lemon with ginger mixed together.
Yes.
For cough?
Yes.
Okay, great. Anybody else used anything?
Ginger for the stomach. Yeah.
Ginger, yeah, ginger for the stomach. I can't remember what class it was in because it was a while back, but it was the, no, it's not cod liver oil, castor oil. Castor oil. I remember distinctly my mom having this little like old bottle of castor oil, and she learned that from her mother. And castor oil, like, I don't know how old everybody is here, but back in the day, my mom used to tell me this. Now, she didn't do that with us, but my grandmother would line up all 6 children. I think there were 6 of them, and they'd each get their little spoon of castor oil and it was to like cleanse the inside. Like I think it probably made you go to the bathroom too, but it was like a cleansing thing. Now, I don't know if people use castor oil today, but if you're listening, if you're live streaming in and it rings a bell, I mean, you're probably laughing because it was one of those things just to clean the system out. You're going to have that castor oil. My grandmother, I remember her having an aloe vera plant, and we were, as kids, we're always excited to like get there and like pinch a little piece off the aloe vera plant and squish it and look at the gel. And, it was more like a plaything for us as kids. But my grandmother did use it for burns or for any kind of skin irritation. So for sure, there's things we probably, as we go through this, you'll probably think, yeah, I think I do use that when I'm feeling like that, like if with a cold or with an infection, or feeling like, what about tooth pain? Has anybody ever used cloves for tooth pain? That's another one of those little remedies that we learned through the ages. You stick the clove back there where the tooth is hurting. All right, so let's get started then. So when we're looking at, so Julie, you've used castor oil. Okay, yeah. I don't know if it's an island thing, because like my parents grew up and my grandparents grew up in Fiji Islands. So I don't know if it's an island thing, or if it's an Indian thing, or if it's in every culture, but castor oil was just this, maybe it was a cheap product. I don't know. It brings a smile to my face though. So
yeah, I'm from the South. And
okay.
I'm 67, so yes, my mom used that.
Yeah.
The castor oil.
Yeah, and my mom passed away a few years back, but she's a bit older than you. But yeah, it was something that and it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but when I was clearing my mom's stuff up after she'd passed away, my dad wasn't going to do it. My two brothers weren't going to do it. So as a daughter, I'm the one that did it. I went through her bathroom and and I tried to keep some of the products that I could use for myself. I mean, it was very hard to go through the bathroom, by the way. She had all sorts of things she'd save, like little perfumes and things, but I found her little castor oil bottle that she had there. I don't know if she really was using it very much, but she had it in her cupboard. So when we think of healing foods, we're talking about natural, nutrient-dense foods, because those are the ones that help protect, mitigate, and even cure some chronic diseases. It also slows down the effects of aging and helps to promote longevity. Fabulous things, right? So what exactly is a nutrient-dense food? Can anybody describe that? Like we hear these terms and, sometimes we're just not 100% sure what it means. So we kind of think we know what it is, but if someone were to ask us, like put us on the spot, we'd be like, I don't know how to explain it. So nutrient dense is kind of like the word nutrient dense with nutrients. So any food that's packed full of nutrients, like vitamins and minerals, would be considered a nutrient dense food, like a banana, like an apple. All fruit is packed full of fiber and vitamins and minerals that are good for us. What's a non-nutrient dense food? Like something like popcorn or chips. They taste good in the moment, but are there vitamins and minerals naturally occurring in them? Not really. So how I explain this to people is that if you make sure that you eat the rainbow, I always say it like that, just eat the rainbow, go grocery shopping, make sure you've got 3 or 4 or 5 different colors in your grocery cart. And I don't mean the package itself, but the food itself, that is colorful. Think of it this way. Our body has many processes that it has to function and do. No matter what goes into your mouth, whether it's a chip, a bag of chips, popcorn, a banana, a steak, whatever it is that you put into your mouth, your body has to process it. It starts by your chewing and you swallow it, and your esophagus, your body has to go through, and it has to do all these things. And when it's doing these processes, it needs vitamin A, and it needs a little bit of selenium, and it needs the iron, and it needs this, and it needs that for all the different processes. So you're with me still, right? So whatever goes in your mouth needs to be processed. Therefore, your body needs this amount of vitamin A, this amount of vitamin C, this amount of vitamin D. And what if the food that you just put in your mouth is like a plain, bag of chips, no vitamins? Where's your body getting the vitamins from? Because it has to process it. You put it into your mouth, it's gonna eventually get pooped out, right? So from here to here, it takes energy and it takes vitamins and minerals. So if it's not in the food itself, guess what? Your body has to steal it from the stores in your body. So it's grabbing a little bit of D and a little bit of C and a little bit of selenium. Oh, your selenium is low because you haven't been eating selenium-rich foods. Okay, for example. Now, if you were to eat an apple, your body can just take right from the apple itself the vitamins it needs to process it. So if you get into a habit of eating what I call non-functional foods, there's no function to them other than maybe you like the flavor, the instant flavor or the gratification you get from having the crunch of the chips. That's my weakness, so I always talk about chips. If you keep eating these low dense foods, like non-dense foods, eventually you're going to run out of vitamins and minerals in your body. That's why in North America, in America and in Canada, we got a lot of people walking around quite obese, quite heavy, and they're starving to death because they're malnourished. They're not nourished with vitamins and minerals. So hopefully that makes some sense to you. Now, why are nutrient dense foods healing to us? We're going to learn that in the next slide. The reason is that nutrient-dense foods on a whole reduce down your inflammation in your body. So if you eat these vegetables and fruits, mainly vegetables and fruits, it controls and brings down your inflammation in your body. Therefore, you are healthier. When we reduce our inflammation, all of a sudden our face isn't puffy anymore. Our swelling goes away in our ankles. Our bloating in our stomach goes down. Have you ever been in the elevator or somewhere where, you know, you're out kind of in public, but sort of on your own, and you look in the mirror and you can really see yourself? Like I did that the other day in our elevator, and I turned to the side and went, oh my gosh, why is my stomach sticking out that much? And I just came back from a walk and I'm like, why is my stomach so bloated? I really could see it with the lighting in the elevator, and I was in there by myself, and I tried to even suck my stomach in and I couldn't. It was still sort of sticking out. That's kind of bloating. Inflammation, that's where we get the inflammation. Inflammation causes that bloating. So the reason nutrient dense foods are so powerful is because they can decrease the inflammation. They add to our stores. They bump up our vitamin C and our vitamin D and our iron stores and our all those nutrients that are important to us, or even not even important, but necessary for us. So there are doctors today that maybe they went through their typical Western medicine training, but now they're like, wow, I didn't learn any nutrition in med school. Like we're talking like zero nutrition in med school. So guess what? They have now made it their mission to put food as the central part of their practice. Like Dr. Mark Hyman, like Dr. Axe, both of these doctors use nutrition as the center of their healing, helping their patients. So Dr. Axe says, like, whatever he sees in your grocery cart has the hugest impact on your health. So next time when you're in the grocery store with your buggy and you're putting food in there, just be a little bit more careful about what's actually going into your cart, because you know whatever's in that cart, eventually you're going to eat. If you live on your own, eventually whatever's in that cart is going to be inside of you. If you live with other people, like I always think of it this way, you know, say you got the grandkids coming over. Yeah, they go to grandma and grandpa's house to look for the treats and all that kind of stuff. But are you really doing them a favor, getting them hooked on sugar and hooked on some of these things? Maybe they would just like grandma's, you know, healthy bowl of something. I don't know. Maybe they get used to eating healthy foods at grandma and grandpa's. Or maybe you still got kids that, you know, go home. Like even me as an adult going to mom and dad's house, like I would always be there looking for a treat or looking for something. And it was like kind of silly. But anyway. So I have chosen these 7 foods. Let's get started with them so we don't run out of time, and we'll go through the 7 foods and then we will look at the recipes. So don't be surprised at the first food. The first food are apples. Apples, you know, remember that saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It's so true. There's some real truth to that statement. We forget about how amazing apples are. We take apples for granted. Why is that? Well, because when you walk into your grocery store, isn't there like, there's usually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of apples every time you go to the grocery store? We get kind of a little bit spoiled a bit about apples because there's so much selection, especially here where I live in BC and Washington. Washington has amazing apples. If anybody's from Washington, we grow apples. Apples are perishable, but they store really well. So that means we can have apples all year round. Do you even know when apple season is? Does anybody know when apple season is? It's actually in the fall. So September, and even in like September is usually when fresh apples are ready on our trees. So when you're eating apples in July, you're eating last year's apples. Did you know that? Yeah, because I had a learner in class, one of my very first classes I ever taught, and she said, she said, I've worked in produce, and there's like a gas and a thing that they put over like the apples to keep them fresh. Now, so we know that in January or in July, we're eating last year's apples, not this year's apples, because they haven't peaked yet. If the skin is starting to get a little bit wrinkly, then you know it's an old apple. So if these apples are on sale at the grocery store and they're just blowing them out. And then the other way is to test is when you eat it, it's mealy. It's very soft and mealy. That's another sign that the apple has gotten old. But in most cases, the apples are quite fresh tasting. And I know people that just eat 1 apple a day. They might not change some of their bad habits. They like their ice cream and they like a few other things, but they make sure they eat 1 apple a day. That keeps the bathroom, the systems running properly. The bathroom experience is good. They don't get constipated. There's tons of fiber in apples. And that's what we find on this next slide. Tons of great, amazing pectin, which is the fiber, that soluble fiber. It helps to clean the pipe. So you eat your apple, you chew on your apple, that fiber goes through the system, cleans, keeps yourself clean. Fantastic for heart health. So if you are worried about having heart issues, having an apple a day is better than any medicine you're going to ever take. Well, I should say it's better, but it's definitely a great natural way to improve your health. So make sure you're eating apples if you're not. Now, here's a little hack. If you don't like actually chomping on an apple, like, you know, with the apple whole in your hand, do the little trick that I do for when I want to make sure I'm going to eat some fruit. I actually, at one point, my husband and I were both eating an apple and a half every morning. So I would grab the apples, I would cut them, core them, slice them, put them in 2 little bowls, 1.5 apples each, and then you have it to sit there. You can eat it kind of like if you're eating popcorn or something. So if you were busy at your computer or doing something, you could go through and eat your apple. And we got into a habit of eating an apple every morning, and wow, did it make a difference. It really made a difference to our overall health. So we'll get to the recipe at the end. Some of you have mentioned ginger. Now, ginger is very, very powerful. Ginger is an amazing healing food. Now, I'm going to only talk about one other food that I think is more healing than ginger, and that's number 7 food today. But ginger is on my number 2 on my list. Oh, that's great, Twee. Yeah, so you have a grandson that eats an apple every day. Really, honestly, it's the best thing to keep the body system going, like the bathroom experience be pleasant. So ginger. The compound in ginger is called gingerols. It's kind of easy to remember because it sounds like the word ginger. What it does is when you eat ginger and it goes through your system and goes into your digestion, into your digestive tract, there's like a little, there's like these receptors, and the gingerol floats in and connects into these receptors like this. And it stops any feeling of nausea. So if say you're going on a big bus trip, or you're going to be driving in the car, and you know you always get nauseous when you're sitting in the back seat of the car, or you're on a plane, or you're going on a boat maybe. The gingerol takes those receptor spots to stop the nausea ones that come in to be able to go in there. So it actually stops you from feeling nauseous. Now, what if you just ate a huge big meal and you're stuffed and you're feeling kind of gross? Having a little bit of ginger can help improve how you're feeling. The other thing that ginger does, and it's been in the Asian cultures for many, many years, not only does it help to relieve nausea, but it really helps aid in digestion. So if you have any digestive issues, weakness in your digestion, start adding some ginger into your life. We'll talk about the little recipe at the end, but ginger is, there's some magical things about ginger. And I mentioned this in another class. I didn't really like ginger when I was a kid because I found it too strong. I bit into a piece of ginger once when my mom put it in a stir fry, and I went, it was hot. It burned my mouth, and I was like a young kid. And then I never liked ginger after that. So here's what you can do if you were a newbie to ginger. Buy your root, bring it home, get it into a freezer type bag, and put it in the shelf in the freezer. And for about 3 months. And anytime you're going to use ginger, pull it out, chop a little, give it a couple minutes, then chop a little piece off of it, put it back in the freezer. Now, this is for people that don't eat a lot of ginger and you're just trying to get used to it. That's the best way to keep your ginger fresh. But I wouldn't say longer than 3 months, because then it just gets freezer burned. But the root will last quite a long time if you put it with your onions and keep it out, you know, on your counter or wherever you put your potatoes and things like that in your home. So garlic, so that's it about ginger. So ginger, what I will say is it also is very preventative. So if you know you're going on an airplane and you always don't feel great on the airplane, then have your ginger before you go on your trip. So like within 30 to 60 minutes, it can be preventative. And then that leads me to one of my all-time favorites. I love ginger. I love garlic. Garlic, the flavor, the smell of garlic is just, if I'm walking down the street and I can smell garlic coming from a restaurant, I'm just drawn in. Like, I just love the smell of garlic. Now, garlic is very specifically good for inflammation as well, but good for as an antimicrobial and antibacterial and antiviral. So if you've got any kind of worry about bacteria or microbes or virus, garlic is your friend. So that's why a lot of times in the past, in the olden days, and even maybe now, people were given garlic or put garlic in the soup. If somebody had a cold or somebody had an infection, they would eat their garlic. The compound in garlic is called allicin, and that's what gets released when you chop up the garlic. So whether you eat it raw or like soaked or marinated, or you cook with it, it's good either way. I really love garlic. Garlic is linked to better cardiovascular health, so better heart health. It's been used as cancer treatment and protection from cancer. It helps to control your hypertension, which is your high blood pressure. And also helps again with the treating of the colds and the infections. So a wonderful food. For any of you that are not fans of garlic, I want you to give it a bit of a try. And the recipe that I'm going to give you, and I'm going to teach you how to roast garlic properly. Eating a little lobe of garlic, you can actually eat a whole lobe of garlic when it's roasted, and it's delicious and it's not hot in your mouth. It's really, really good. I mean, that's what they make garlic bread with. Who doesn't like garlic bread? You can take a fresh piece of garlic, roast it, put the butter on your toast or on your bun, and smash that garlic right into it to make your own garlic butter, which is like, oh, it's way better to make your own. Okay, number 4 food, blueberries. Blueberries. So now we've got apples and we have blueberries. That's 2 fruit already. Doesn't that tell you that God, or whoever you believe in, created these amazing fruits to fill our bodies with vitamins and minerals? So if you have been afraid of eating fruit because you've been told, oh, too much sugar, I want you to rethink that a little bit. Talk to your doctor. Maybe you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. Fruit is not your enemy. Fruit has beautiful natural sugars and tons of fiber and lots of vitamins and minerals. So you might have to be conscientious about how you eat your fruit or how much fruit you eat if you are worried about blood sugar levels. But blueberries are one of the lowest sugar containing fruits. So your berries, your blueberries, your blackberries, even strawberries and raspberries, they're lower sugar than, say, papaya or pineapple or mango. Those are higher sugar fruits. So blueberries have a thing called anthocyanin. That is the compound in blueberries that gives it that really deep, rich blue color. Now, blueberries, most of us eat them fresh, right? You buy them fresh, or you buy them frozen, put them on your oatmeal. Maybe you put them in your smoothie. I like to eat them just fresh, just like out of a bowl. They go in and eat up the free radicals that are floating around in your body. Now, excuse me, free radicals are produced when there's something in your body has oxidized. That's not good. Like if oil has oxidized or some trans fat in your body, oxidation is not good in our bodies. It produces these free radicals floating around, causing havoc inside of us. Blueberries come in like a Pac-Man and get rid of these free radicals. So it's pretty exciting. Now, they also blueberries can protect you from diseases, including cancers. So keep that in mind. I think everybody should have frozen blueberries in their freezer. We don't get them fresh all the time. Blueberries also are great at lowering our blood pressure, so thereby reducing our risk of heart disease. So again, I don't know anybody that has been allergic to blueberries, and I don't know anybody that does not like blueberries. I mean, there's no seeds in it. They're so easy to eat because you don't have to spit anything out. And you don't have seeds like in blackberries, the seeds get stuck in your teeth. There's nothing to get stuck in your teeth. The only thing with blueberries is, it's kind of funny. When I used to go to work, if you eat blueberries like in a smoothie or something, you sometimes end up with like blue teeth or like blue around your mouth. So that might be the only thing that's a little bit funny. All right, number 5, salmon. Who doesn't like fish? I always have a few people that they're a little bit fussy about eating fish. It could be where you're brought up. Like my husband grew up in the province beside us in Alberta, and that's like cow country and horse country. And he didn't grow up eating fish. He didn't know about fish. Excuse me. After three classes, your throat starts to get dry. Salmon, my husband loves salmon now, by the way. And the reason that you might not like salmon is because you've eaten it overcooked. Overcooked salmon is not great. Salmon is so healthy with packed full of omega-3 fatty acids, which our body needs. We cannot manufacture omega-3, so we have to get it in our food. So salmon has all these amazing omega-3s in it. Salmon brings down inflammation in our bodies. Have you ever had salmon for dinner and you maybe had a full plate? You had your vegetables, you had rice, and you had salmon as your protein. Don't you feel fantastic after you have a salmon meal? Like you don't feel bloated, you don't feel like you overate. That's because the salmon starts to do all its goodness right away. And it starts to work on the inflammation in your body. You actually feel really good after a fish meal. Now, for the longest time, I only ordered fish when I was in a restaurant because I was scared to make it at home because I had no idea how to cook it. Well, that's going to change today because the recipe I have for you for salmon, first of all, gives it such great flavor that if you're a newbie of eating fish, you're going to love this recipe. And secondly, I've given you some details on how to not overcook your fish. So not to worry, you're going to do fine with that. Why is it so good for you? Packed full of protein, packed full of vitamin B12, which is one that a lot of us can lack, B6, vitamin D, and selenium. And people ask me, well, how often should I eat fish? If you can get an omega-3 fatty acid type of fish, so an oily fish once a week, you're doing great. Salmon, sardines come in cans. Those are pretty inexpensive as well. Herring, you buy fresh herring down at the fish market. What else? Mackerel. We're going to be going to Japan, fingers crossed, next year in March. And they have beautiful fresh mackerel. So I'm really excited to try mackerel. I haven't actually tried it as a fish. I think they get mackerel back down south as well in America. I don't know much about mackerel, so I'm looking forward to that one. But again, why I'm bringing up mackerel is because it's also an oily fish like salmon. All right, number 6 is avocado. So guess what? That's the third fruit, because avocado is actually a fruit. It's one of those anomalies because it's a fruit, but it's not sweet. It's got packed full of healthy fats, your monounsaturated fats. I know some people that are pretty addicted to avocados, and I think that's a great addiction to have. The thing about avocados is, like, you buy it in the grocery store, you can't always use it the day you buy it. It takes some time to ripen, but boy, when you get good at learning how to ripen your avocados to perfection, and then when they're just ripe, you put them in the fridge to slow down the ripening so you can eat them however you want to eat them. Fantastic in smoothies. Has anybody put avocado in their smoothie? Anybody?
Yes, me.
You only need to put a little bit because it's not sweet, but it adds a nice smoothness to your smoothie. Here's another way. I actually had it the other day. My husband, we were testing out how to make our own ice cream. Now, we don't have an ice cream maker, but you can actually make a beautiful whipped ice cream with avocado. So you whip the avocado. We added cacao or cocoa to make a chocolate ice cream, and then you freeze it, and it's so tasty and so packed full of amazing things because you're eating the good fats, you're reducing your inflammation at the same time, packed full of vitamin C. So, you know, when they talk about citrus being vitamin C, and maybe you don't like lemons and you don't like oranges and they're too tart, or grapefruit, avocados packed full of vitamin C, more than I think an orange. I think I read something there. It's just packed full of vitamin C. Potassium and folate as well. So if you're low in that. Okay, so avocados, what else? Avocados also reduce your inflammation because of that omega-3 in it. So again, if you're worried about bloatingness and feeling not great that way, start eating avocados. And that leads me to the number 7 one, which is your number 1 food, spice, that I feel is healing for the body. Number 1, out of everything I've studied in my nutrition for years, I want you to consider bringing turmeric into your life. The compound in turmeric is called curcumin, and curcumin is no relation to cumin, and cumin's another spice. Curcumin is the compound that you find in turmeric. So I want to say one thing about turmeric, and I didn't say it in my last class. We talked about turmeric. You can buy turmeric pills. And people, the number 1 reason people take turmeric is for what? Anybody know?
I do it for inflammation.
That's the number 1 reason we want turmeric, is to reduce inflammation in our body. So if you've got arthritis, you got like inflammation of your joints, turmeric's your friend. Now, when you buy capsules, first of all, make sure you talk to your doctor about it. But when you buy capsules, make sure in the ingredients, you see how much curcumin is in it, because it's the curcumin that is what is healing in the turmeric, not just turmeric powder. So be careful when you buy supplements that it's the curcumin. And the other thing is you want your supplement, or if you're going to use turmeric in your food, sprinkle in some black pepper. Black pepper mixed with turmeric makes it 2,000% more bioavailable to you, which means if you add just that little bit of black pepper, you're going to get more absorption of the good stuff out of the turmeric than if you didn't have it. Not 20 times more, not 200 times more, 2,000 times more. Huge. So you really want to have the black pepper mix with it. Now, we're going to get to the recipes now. So let me just stop sharing just for a second. Does anybody have a question? I'm going to just pull up the booklet so we can go through the recipes now. Okay, well, Twee, you wanting to know about the ice cream recipe? Yeah, it's so easy to make. Really, it's super easy to make. This is really all you need. You take your avocados, you smash them up, you whip them up. You add some kind of sweetener. Now, the only sweetener that I'm approving of right now, because I'm very, very big on no processed sugars, refined sugars, monk fruit sweetener. It's like mixed usually with erythritol, which is the sugar alcohol. It's the only sugar that your body doesn't go crazy. Your insulin and your pancreas doesn't go crazy. All you do is you whip up the avocado, you mix in some cocoa to, if you want to make it chocolate, because that's a nice flavor. It kind of not masks the avocado. You mix those things together. You add a little bit of sweetener, so a little bit of monk fruit. I mean, if you want to use stevia or sugar, you can do that too. But I would say try to use the monk fruit. And that's it. That's your ice cream. You mix it, you put it in your little mason glass jars. Like I have those little jars. I put it in there, seal it, put it in the freezer. Now, if you don't have an ice cream maker, every 15 minutes until it freezes, you pull it out, you give it a stir, and so it stays smooth, back in the freezer. 15 minutes, you pull it out. You do that about 4 times, and then you leave it in the freezer and let it freeze. Then your ice cream is ready, like in a few hours or the next day, and you pull out your little jar, let it thaw for a little bit, because it's there's no preservatives in it, okay? So it's not going to be smooth. It takes a bit to unthaw. Fantastic ice cream. Fantastic ice cream. And so healthy for you too. She doesn't like monk fruit. Has your daughter tried monk fruit? Because the brand that I get, it's monk fruit with I don't know how to spell it, erythritol. I'd have to look it up. It's a little package like this size with like a pink and white label, and it says monk fruit. I bought mine at Walmart, but you can get it at Costco. You can get it at any grocery store now. When you taste monk fruit, it tastes like sugar. There's no bitterness. It's not like stevia where you get that aftertaste. Monk fruit just tastes like sugar to me. I have to say. So I don't know what she doesn't like about it. All right. Here's the little booklet. You don't have to take notes because you're going to get this exact booklet. My first recipe for apples is my chunky applesauce. All I'm going to say about this is, if you've got a slow cooker or like a crock pot, same thing as a slow cooker, use that. I want you to cook your apples slowly. And by cooking them slowly, the natural sugars get released from your apples. What I'm going to ask that you do, and as I say, you're going to get this whole thing. Try to mix apples together when you make applesauce. Don't just use the same apple for the applesauce, because then it's kind of one note. Try to mix it to get a more flavorful applesauce. As you can see from my recipe, I have no sugar added, none. Trust me, just try it once with your slow cooker. Make your applesauce, do it slowly, and then taste it at the end. Don't be the person who salts the food before you've even tasted it. Try the applesauce without any sugar. If those sugars are allowed to come out naturally, I bet you your applesauce will be sweet enough for you, and you don't need to add that extra sugar. So try it out. Let me know. It's a great recipe, and applesauce freezes really well. So you can freeze it in little containers, put it in your fridge, and when you're like looking for that piece of dessert or something you're looking for, you can just pull out the applesauce that you made. It makes quite a bit, this 3 pounds of apples. For ginger, I'm giving you a very simple ginger tea recipe. So you buy your ginger, get the piece like I said here, stick it in the freezer if you want, chop off a little piece, put it in your teapot or in your teacup, fresh lemon, a little bit of honey to taste, and that hot water, and make yourself a gorgeous cup of lemon and ginger tea. Maybe you overate, maybe your stomach is upset, maybe I don't know, you've heard some news and you're just feeling upset, your stomach is upset. Ginger will calm your stomach down. So this is a really lovely, cute recipe that you can use to make tea. And again, you can use it for prevention. The next recipe I have is creamy garlic mashed potatoes. So this is how I'm using the garlic. How many of us have been to a steakhouse and they give you this amazing mashed potatoes that taste like to die for? And We don't think to even make it for ourselves. Now, I like the yellow potatoes. I don't know if it's a thing just because I like the visual. If it's like, you know, like the egg yolk, I like the darker it is, the better. I think the healthier it is. You can use whatever potatoes you want. You can use russet potatoes, which is the most common potato, but I like the Yukon Gold. I explain how to make the recipe. It's a 2-page here, but as you can see, I've got a picture. I teach you how to roast your garlic. When the garlic is roasted like that, that is your garlic bread. Like you take that little thing out with the fork and smash it onto your bread, and it's like fantastic. That's how I like to roast my garlic and mash that into my mashed potatoes. So you guys can decide, and you can let me know what you think. The other thing that I have in this recipe is I add 1/3 cup of cream. Now, if you are being conscious about your dairy products or you're vegan, you can substitute it with a vegan, some type of vegan cream or dairy, not non-dairy, or you can use plain Greek yogurt. And I've also used sour cream, and they all are really nice. Something to kind of cream up the mashed potatoes. This makes quite a bit. I'm putting in a whole head of garlic, but that's because I really love the garlic. All right, the next recipe is the blueberry vinaigrette. So most of us eat blueberries fresh, right? We eat them like as fresh little berries. This is a beautiful vinaigrette, and it ends up looking just like this. And you need a pretty heavy duty blender, like a NutriBullet or a Magic Bullet or a Vitamix or something like that. But the NutriBullet works really, really good. And make sure you don't eliminate the olive oil. You need that oil in there to emulsify it so it comes together as one smooth vinaigrette. And this dressing, I actually stick it in a jar with a lid and put it in my fridge, and it lasts like, you know, about a week or so because it's fresh blueberries. Now, you can use it on fish. You can use it with your chicken. So say you have somebody over for a chicken salad or a salad. It's a lovely salad dressing to put on your salad. If anything, if I were to say as a nutritionist, if you could stop buying something, I would say stop buying salad dressing bottles. Like just make your own. It's actually one of the easiest things to make on your own. And then you don't have to have preservatives and all that kind of stuff in salad dressings. So, and they use whatever oil they want to. At least when you make it, you put in good olive oil or a good avocado oil or good coconut oil for your salad dressings. All right, here's the salmon recipe that I promised you. This is so tasty. I mean, kids will eat this fish. They will. Maple syrup, orange juice, soy sauce, crushed garlic, all mixed together in a little marinade. The fish is just so delicious when you use this. And then you also sprinkle a little bit of spring onion or green onion on the top. It comes out looking just like that. I talked to you about how to not overcook your salmon. So that's really important, to not overcook your salmon. Otherwise, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't even have a good flavor. Okay, so you're going to get all these recipes. So not to worry, you're going to get all of these recipes. Guacamole, one of my all-time favorites. I'm an avocado lover. I love avocados. I love making guacamole. This recipe is right from Mexico, from Guadalajara. I learned this from a lady who was making it in the kitchen at a place where I was staying. And I watched her make it and got the recipe written out in Spanish and had my friend translate it for me. This is right from her kitchen. And it's quite healthy for you. You're eating avocados, beautiful olive oil that's good for us. Red onion, which is good. Cilantro, if you can tolerate cilantro and you don't dislike it. Cilantro is a bitter herb that helps to cleanse our body as well. That freshly squeezed lime, lots of vitamin C. The jalapeno to give it a little bit of a kick, and the Roma tomatoes, which is fantastic. This is a fantastic, I mean, I could sit and eat, like, I don't even need to, you can put it as a condiment with fish or whatever you're eating, your chicken even, but it's great with chips, of course, right? Like, who doesn't like avocados or guacamole with chips? And then to share the last recipe with you, Sarita is the name of my mom. So my mom's not with us anymore, but she would be thrilled that I am sharing her personal recipe with all of you. Now, as a child, this was the very first Indian type of recipe my mom taught me to make. So I was quite young when I was doing this learning this recipe. Now, a dal in Indian culture is like a soup. It's like it looks like a soup, like a pea soup. And you eat it with rice, or most people will eat their dal with some form of bread. So you can soak your bread in it, or you like roti, chapati, naan bread, any of those kinds of breads. And I mean, Nancy, yeah. So anyways, so if you've got the background, Indian background, then you'd be familiar with this. So this is how my mom made it. Now, the only thing that I changed to my mom's recipe is I added in a half a teaspoon of black pepper. Now, I might reduce that down to a quarter teaspoon, because you don't want it to be too spicy, but black pepper, because of what I just learned about turmeric, to get the benefit of the turmeric. So this recipe is, you want to make it exactly how I'm saying to make it, because that will bring out the flavor of the lentils. They won't be boring and bland. And in Hindi, we call it chonko, like it's to chunk it's the way you fry the onions and garlic and then put it into your cooked lentils. So it's all written out here, very, very easy to understand. So please feel free to follow this recipe. I would love to hear if you've made any of the recipes. So if you've taken my class before, or you are going to try making these recipes, I would love to hear back from you. So just even if you're in a different class of mine, you can just like, put your hand up or whatever and just let me know, because that would make me feel happy to know that you tried a recipe, that you liked it. Now, if you didn't like it or you tweaked it, let me know that as well. So I will change it up. I think I might switch from a half a teaspoon of black pepper down to a quarter teaspoon, because I think that might be a better amount, I think, for that recipe. But see, as you can see, I'm always updating whatever I'm giving you guys. So that is it in terms of the class. Let me just quickly go through the last little slides here. So basically, we've learned to understand the healing power of foods. We've talked about 7 specific foods, and now we've just gone through their recipes. We are putting new classes out on the schedule all the time, so just keep checking it. Like, even if you checked it today, check tomorrow, because sometimes something might show up. So I'm teaching my diabetes class next week, which is a brand new class. And what else is, like, tomorrow I've got a lot of classes because I'm taking Saturday off to go visit my father. So I'm doing brain class tomorrow. I'm doing heart class, the Loving Your Heart. I'm doing optimal eye care tomorrow, and I'm doing detoxing your home tomorrow. So I got 4. You get a lot of me tomorrow because I'm teaching 4 classes. And plus, there's some amazing classes from other guides, like exercise classes, and I don't know, even if it's like your social outlet, come to as many classes as you want. I mean, there's no limit on how many classes you do. And right now, everything's free. I don't know for how long it's going to stay free. Maybe it's going to be free forever. I don't even know. I'm not in charge of it, but come to classes. I will send you out a post email, and you will get your booklet of recipes. Please fill out this feedback form if you can, and rate the class a 1-star to a 5-star, and give us some feedback, because we do read it. I read every single feedback that anybody sends. I read it. You can invite friends now to classes, and if you want to suggest a class, just send an email to help@getsetup.io, and we'll get that, and we'll see that maybe you're suggesting. I don't know, I get suggestions quite often for classes, especially when it's to do with health, especially if it's something that's related to them and they'd like to see and get some help with that. All right, so does anybody have any questions or comments?
You mentioned the monk fruit. Is this the brand?
Yes. That's exactly the one. So Tweet, can you just, hold it up just a little higher, a little bit higher. Yeah. Lakanto. Lakanto is the name of it, Tweet, called monk fruit sweetener. That's the one I buy. And I got it where did you buy yours, Judy?
I was at a Seventh-day Adventist grocery store and
Oh,
happened
okay.
to spot it and grabbed it. So
Oh, okay. Are you Seventh-day Adventist? Oh, yeah, I guess I should ask you that, but
no, I'm not, but I have to shop there a lot because I live in North Georgia near Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we don't have a lot of things at regular grocery stores.
okay,
So
cool.
I catch myself at their stores.
Okay, the reason I ask is because my mom and dad are both Seventh-day Adventists, so I grew up as a Seventh-day Adventist. They're very into health. It's all about health. So I
Yeah.
go to the Adventist grocery store sometimes too,
Me
to
too.
pick up some of my products because
Yeah.
they've got some amazing products.
Yeah, I'm
And you can buy it in bulk. Sorry, Tweed, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Miss Judy, can you show me again, please?
Am I getting?
Hold on, don't hand it out.
Yeah, that's the exact brand that and you can get it in golden or you can get it in white. So it looks just like sugar when it's white. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like to me, it just tastes like sugar. I can't tell a difference. Oh, you're on mute, Judy. It's okay.
One way to shut me up. That's what I have used stevia for so many years that it's going to take me a couple times to figure it out.
Yes, to know the amount. But stevia's got that slightly bitter taste. So yeah. So yes, okay. So Costco sells monk fruit too. So if you have a Costco near you, I'm going to go to Costco this weekend. So I'm going to see how they sell it and how big of a package. I've got the exact same size package as you have, Judy. And because I'm trying to not have as much sugar, I'm definitely not using it like a whole cup in my stuff. Like I'm using less, maybe not as little as stevia, but I'm definitely using less. And it doesn't affect your pancreas in the insulin release. Like it's kind of a magical food, actually.
Cool.
Yeah. So Stephanie, I see that you got your little friend with you there. I love kitty cats. You came to listen in on the health talk, I see. Yeah, it's so cute. Very cute. It's a big cat. He looks pretty big. Hi, sweetheart. Look at you. So does anybody have any questions, anything else before we end today? I love seeing all of you. I love your questions. I do love to learn from you too. Like do I learn things from everybody. So, the neat thing is if every week we keep on taking health classes and the exercise classes, which are considered health and wellness classes, we are all collectively going to be healthier than say our neighbor that's not doing any of this stuff. So I said this to my husband, the more I teach, every week that I teach, my health is improving because I'm practicing what I'm preaching. So when I talk about turmeric, I created that. Actually, you know what? I might send it to you guys too, as a treat, because I created 11 ways to use turmeric. For any of you that are not sure how to use turmeric, I will send that in this class as well. It's a new little recipe booklet I put together, and believe me, try the turmeric dressing for your salad that I created. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I had it on salad and I had it on, we mixed it into our vegetables. It's so good. And you're getting that really fresh turmeric in your stuff. So it's really, really fun. Okay, yeah, I'll send it out to all of you that are on the call today. You'll all get the second booklet. So you're going to get 2 booklets from me. The 7 simple recipes, the ones we just went over, and 11 fresh recipes, not even the dal recipes on there. There's nothing, they're all kind of Western recipes. Like they're not like, Indian curries or anything. They're all like recipes where you can just add in turmeric. So I will say goodbye to you all. I hope to see you all tomorrow or next week. Take care of yourself and stay healthy, everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks, Nancy, for all your help.